Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of Not Too Late, the only IU-based late night talk show that's under investigation for tax evasion. Now, I bet you're all wondering, why is my finger in a splint? And if I'm being honest, it's quite an embarrassing story. Yesterday I was in the kitchen of my house washing the dishes when my roommate came in and asked if I wanted some help. We got the dishes done in half the time it would have taken me, and we went for a celebratory teamwork high five. I was a bit slow on the reaction, and this happened. Boop. This splint has brought me to remember all the other times that I've broken my fingers in my life. Now, the first time I broke my right pinky, my brother and I had just gotten skateboards and were practicing balancing on the living room carpet. Yes, that does mean we were 100% stationary and I still had an injury. As my brother began to lose his balance, he decided that I was the best way to catch his fall, so he pushed me over and my pinky was broken on impact with the floor. Last year, I had yet another finger injury while playing for my rec basketball team. It was the first play of the game and I was going in for an easy layup, but just as I was shooting, my shot was denied. The player slammed the ball right back into my left hand and broke my left pinky. I sat for the rest of the half and gave an injury report to the on-duty intramural sports worker. At halftime, I asked the worker if I could go back in, and they replied, "I would heavily advise against it, but technically I can't stop you." So naturally, I went right back in. On my first play back in the game, I had another great layup opportunity, but this time it was with the right hand. I took the shot, and the exact same player came down, and you guessed it, broke my other pinky. The intramural sports worker had to come back over and file a brand new report with me, and as you can imagine, they were furious. The only positive I know of from that game is that I probably tied the world record for most broken pinkies in one game of basketball. That is, unless somebody happens to have 3 pinkies and is just as clumsy as me. To sum this all up, I've broken a lot of fingers, but I promise all of you that I will never let that break me. We have a great show for you tonight. We're going to do another episode of The Vault with a beloved crew member, so let's get the show on the road. Gotta limber up for the show. One thing it seems that everyone who attends IU has in common is funny roommate stories. To showcase this, every week I'm going to read a roommate story sent in by one of you. To get your story on the show, just DM our Twitter, at IUSTV Not Too Late. Our story this week comes from an anonymous viewer who said, "Last year I came back from spring break to hear all about my roommate's interesting Friday night. She had no memory, but through accounts of her friends and Snapchat video evidence, learned that after having one too many drinks, she started talking in a flawless British accent for the whole night. I asked her to try and recreate this British accent for me sober, and it was pure poppycock. That Saturday night, she went out again and came back late after I was asleep. The next morning, she seemed fine, she wasn't hungover, and yet, once again, had little memory of the night before. Then she got her boyfriend's daily good morning text, only this time it read, 'Good day, mate.' She called him right away. He was in California still for spring break and to her knowledge should have no contact with the British self. Her boyfriend told her that he had received a booty call from a British girl last night from the same number as her and was wondering if she knew how he could get in touch with her. He, of course, knew it was her and the whole situation was just very odd, especially because it only lasted 2 days. Now that sounds like quite the odd occurrence. With the flawless British booty call, your roommate was definitely acting a bit cheeky. Now it's time to give all of you your weekly news updates with our What's Up IU, where we will keep you informed on all the big news stories that are making waves in Indiana and around the world. Visit Bloomington.com attempted to break down the iconic event of Little Five and explain it to visitors of the area by classifying participant activity into 3 levels: chill, energetic, and celebratory, being the max level. Now that's a pretty tame word to describe what all goes down for Little Five, but let's all stick to the lingo our community wants. It might even help us out. "Oh, I was only celebrating, officer. Nothing more." In Noblesville, Indiana, a large-scale rescue mission has been going on for several weeks. The target? Ramsey, an 8-pound chocolate and tan toy poodle. After hidden cameras, sniffing dog trackers, and volunteers from 2 states were not enough, the search team has hired 2 sidekicks. The sidekicks are already making progress, claiming that Ramsey has told them that she has been taken by a kind old woman. While this may sound like a relief, we have to remember what happened the last time a seemingly kind old woman took in a stray pet. After nearly 2 months of protests, Mayor John Hamilton has announced that the city's plans to follow through with the purchase of an armored vehicle for Bloomington will indeed go forward. Hamilton updated the community on some changes that have been made since the protests, such as 4 gun ports instead of 9, a separate storage space for the battering ram, and getting the light gray version with the word rescue on the side. Protesters aren't giving up and plan to occupy every city council event going forward. It seems like the protesters are kind of trying to give the Bloomington Police Department a reason to take the tank out for a spin. The new IU chapter of the Indiana Canine Assistant Network put on a benefit concert Tuesday night to raise money for the parent organization. The benefit concert raised $1,000 to support the service dog training group. The only difference between these therapy dogs and normal dogs is that these will tell you that you're the good boy. The White House is facing criticism over the lack of diversity of participants in their intern program, saying it is the whitest group ever. Trump apologized, saying that he figured that since the title of the program was the White House Internship, being white was a bit of a prerequisite. On March 31st, the IU women's basketball team won their first WNIT title in the school's history, defeating Virginia Tech 65-57. Senior Tyra Buss was named WNIT MVP with 13,000 people packed into Assembly Hall. It's nice that IU finally had a chance to celebrate basketball again. Before we get to our interview, let's check out this week's field segment. We'll be right back, everyone.
Yep. That's a field right there.
Welcome back to the show. Our guest this week is one of our producers for the show, Sydney Winninger. How are you doing today, Sydney?
Doing okay.
So what are you involved with around campus?
Around campus, well, I'm involved in this. I also work on crew at WTIU, so we do a lot of like the IU sports events, and we also have our own studio shows.
Nice. What's your favorite one to work on?
My favorite studio show to work on is probably Friday Zone.
Not
it's
this
one? Yeah, no, this one's good. This one's good.
All right. What's your major?
I'm a media major, cinema and media studies and production.
How long would you say you've been producing different content, like throughout your life?
I mean, I would say this is like my first producer role, with like producer as the actual title of the job. But I mean, student projects and stuff like that.
What's your favorite piece of work that you've ever created in your whole life? Do you have anything like that that sticks out in your head?
Last summer, I did with Jim Krause the 351 like field production and editing, and I had a piece in there I was really proud of. I did an interview with my dad because he's a cello player, and so just talking to him about that, and I liked it.
So working on the show is not typical of your other RTV shows, correct? Or would you say it's similar?
It's similar. But obviously the crew is all students compared to like TIU where we have like professionals like helping us along.
What are some of the noticeable difference that you can talk about?
I mean, it's pretty similar. I like the TIU job feels more professional, but like it's the same thing here. So it's a good experience both ways.
Right, so I asked you about some of your favorite content you've ever created. What's some content? You have any content that you're just not amped about? Stuff that you're not super proud of?
Yeah, the first video I ever made was in 8th grade for this like business project. We had to come up with a product and a like commercial video for the product, and it was all made in iMovie, so you know it's really good. But yeah, that's probably not my best work.
Yeah. So all of us here in the media school are content creators, and we haven't always made the great content you see us make now. So here in the Vault, we like to highlight that by showing some of our old content that isn't really up to our current standards. To start, we're going to show a short segment from a Cops parody that I made with some friends in high school. So let's check that one out.
We've been getting some reports from the administration about people, students leaving school during lunch times to go and grab some Sonic, grab some Smash Burger. We need to really come down hard on this one. So we think we might be seeing some students right now about to leave the school for lunch.
Yeah, we got an anonymous tip that these two students have been leaving.
Oh, there they are now.
the,
There they are now.
laundry.
There they are now.
All right, let's just
Stop here. Stop here.
let's go.
Yep.
All right.
They're coming out now. I don't think they see us yet.
All right.
Here they come.
Wait from here. Here they come.
Here they
All
come.
right.
They're on their way.
Ready?
Let's get them. Afternoon, boys.
How's it going?
What are you doing out here?
I'm just trying to get some stuff for my
That's
lawn.
weird. Looks to be around lunchtime.
You guys have first one.
Let's
go, Rory, out here.
take it down.
Let's go, let's go.
No.
You have the right to remain silent. All right, looks like Johnny's about to make a takedown. Oh, he got him.
Made a good bust today. These kids won't be going out getting their lunch anytime soon. Their actions were strictly against Chapter 4, Section 20 of the Blue Mountain North Protocol. Today was a good day. Now we're gonna go eat Sonic to celebrate.
All right, so that's some older content I made. Me and my buds, we watched an episode of Cops in class, and then we were like, we can do that. So we got permission from our high school. That's actually just a very short segment of that was probably maybe 1/3 or a quarter of the video. Surprisingly, my most viewed video that I've ever created. What does that say to you?
I think it says you did a good job.
Good job. Yeah, as you can tell, the audio is choppy in there. A lot of mistakes.
It was high school.
It was high school?
Yeah.
All right, so...
what year of high school was that?
Senior year.
Okay.
Yeah, that was actually before I decided I was even coming here. Before I even knew I wanted to do media. But now what we'll do is we're going to look at something that Sydney has created. This is the project she was talking about, the one that she made in 8th grade. And it is a pillow commercial.
Yeah. I don't know if you remember Pillow Pets, but that's like where the inspiration came from.
All right, well, let's check that out now and see what we think.
What is a pillow? A fluffy, soft thing that everybody loves. Let's ask some of our non-paid customers to find out and see what they say.
Me and my hubby Edward here, we totally love this cute turtle pillow. And it is so great to have a husband like him because he just agrees with everything I say. Don't you think I look great in my headgear, sweetie? Yes, I think you do. Thank you. I love this fuzzy little turtle. I mean, it's a turtle. It's my favorite animal. Who doesn't like turtles? And so between you and me, it helps me with my PowerPoints. Why, this here fuzzy little pillow, it is so comfortable. I've had it for a month. It's been under my bottom. And so now I've been working on this gorgeous scarf. I mean, look at it. Ain't this so cute? I just love it. And I love you, little turtle.
What is a pillow? A soft, fluffy thing that everyone will love. I bet my second cousin on it.
How does it feel watching that? With all the content you've created now, looking back at that content, how does it feel?
Not great.
You ever thought about getting into acting?
Wow.
Because those accents you did, I thought Edward Cullen really was talking. So do you actually own an Edward Cullen stand-up?
No, that was my friend's. She was obsessed with Twilight and had a cutout of Edward. Yeah.
What was the hardest role to encapsulate in that? Was it the old woman? Was it the salesperson? Was it the teenager with the headgear in love with vampires?
Well, I've never been a fan of Twilight, so that was pretty hard. But I don't know, they were all kind of equally.
Where'd you get the accent experience for the old woman voice?
That just came from the heart. I don't.
Give us some insight onto this. So you said it was for a project, correct? And so you had to show this to your whole class.
I did.
How did the class react to such amazement at such a young age?
There wasn't really much of a reaction as
Really?
far as I can remember.
Nobody was laughing, nobody was enjoying
Yeah,
themselves?
no one, I don't remember there being laughs. Like, I think me and my partner were the ones laughing at it the most. Yeah.
So, comparative to your current stuff, how does that make you feel to watch that older content?
I mean, I see where I've improved from that because all the not clean edits in there are painful. Yeah.
Still edit on iMovie?
No, I use Premiere Pro.
So if you could give yourself, the person that we saw in that video, one piece of advice, what would you pick?
Oh man. I really don't know. Just stick with it, you know.
Stick with it?
I don't
You
know.
wouldn't give them advice on editing points, or maybe not
Well-
uploading it to YouTube?
Yeah, maybe not letting your friend upload it to her YouTube channel.
You ever tried to get it taken down or anything?
I don't think she remembers the password for that channel, so it's kind of there forever.
It's permanent. And I have a download now, so. Yeah. All right, so I want to thank all of you for watching the episode this week, and also give thanks to our guest Sydney for coming out. Thank you very much. Join us next week where our guest Jesse Eisenberg is going to Skype in from his underground bunker. Thank you for watching, and remember, it's not too late to join a KISS cover band. I'll see you all next week. Thanks for watching another episode. Click here to subscribe. Click here to see a previous episode. Click right up there to find out who your birth father is. Click down here to see where I got these shoes. Click in that bottom right corner if you want to pause the video. Top left, do not click that. Do not. Do not. I know you want to. Don't click it, okay? Up here, click up there. Don't know what it does, but hopefully your computer won't break. Finally, click down here to learn German instantly. Do not know how it works, but it does work. See you next time.